You should now have your complete setup saxophone, and in this lecture I'm going to show you how to attach your reed to the mouthpiece. But first, let's take a look at where reeds come from and why exactly this little piece of wood is so very important to us. So now that you know a bit more about where reeds come from and why they are so important to us, I'm going to show you how to attach your reed to the mouthpiece. In the saxophone assembly lecture, we attached the mouthpiece to the neck, and then we attached them to the body of the saxophone. We are going to take one step back now and remove the neck from the body again. This is normally where you will pause to attach the reed to the mouthpiece, and when it is attached, you can put the neck and the mouthpiece with the ligature and the reed onto the body. So this is what you should have in your left hand now. The neck with the mouthpiece attached, and your ligature is going to be hanging on your left pinky. This is a useful trick as you will soon need your ligature, and if you have it hanging on standby here, you will save yourself the frustration of looking or feeling around for it while you are trying to hold the reed in place. This will make more sense in a minute. Remember that your ligature might look different than mine. It might look like either of these two, or even different. The important thing is to have it the correct way up. As you will see, one end is narrower and one end will be wider. The wide end needs to be at the bottom and the narrow end at the top so that it can slide onto the mouthpiece. Then I'm going to hold the mouthpiece like this in my left hand with the facing towards me and my left thumb resting at the bottom here. Take your reed in your right hand and ensure that it is wet. Remember, reeds love water. They have to be wet in order to play. Also make sure that your reed is the right way around. You will know that it is the right side around if the flat part of the reed with the printing on it is at the back facing away from you, and that you are looking at the side of the reed that has been filed down. Now I want you to place the reed onto the facing of the mouthpiece where you will see it's going to be a perfect fit. So continue to hold the reed in place with your left thumb because now you have to fine-tune the reed's position using your right hand. First, we're going to check that the sides of the reed is lining up perfectly with the side rails of the mouthpiece. So these are the side rails here. It's basically the edges of the mouthpiece before it goes into the opening. And you want to make sure that it's lining up beautifully on both sides. If I can give you a tip, when it comes to reed placement, precision is king. The more precise you place the reed onto the mouthpiece, the easier it is going to be for you to produce a sound, and the better that sound is going to be. Remember, the reed is tiny, but it has a lot of responsibility. Without the reed, there can be no sound. So make sure you take your time and you put this reed on the best you can. And then when we're happy with the sides, we're going to check the top. So you want to make sure that the tip of the reed is lining up with the mouthpiece at the top, but that you can still see a hairline of black. It will only be a millimeter that you will be able to see the black mouthpiece still showing through. So this is quite a precise movement. Make sure the reed isn't too high or too low. Either way, it will be very difficult to get a sound out if your reed is too high or too low. So once you're happy with the sides and the top, you can put your ligature over. So then carefully we're going to slide the ligature over the mouthpiece and reed. Make sure you don't hit the reed in the process. Now this is very important. Almost all of the students who learn to place their reeds tend to put their ligatures too high on the mouthpiece. So make sure you move it down, and that's what these guidelines are for. You will see both these lines on either side of the mouthpiece, and they show you exactly where your ligature needs to sit. Alright, so if my ligature is too high like this is going to cause a few problems. You will see it's not going to line up to my mouthpiece here at the back. And secondly, it's going to suffocate the reed. So if you think of someone giving you a hug high around your neck and they squeeze hard, they're sort of going to suffocate you and you're going to say, aha, get off me. So that is what the ligature is doing if it's this high. This is extremely high. This is a definite no-no. So you can see this is actually on the playing part of the reed. This isn't even down in the ligature part. So stay away from putting the ligature too high. You are suffocating the reed, and what happens is it can't do its job. It can't vibrate to make you that beautiful sound. So push the ligature down until it sits over this fat part of the mouthpiece. When you're happy with the position of your ligature, before you fasten it, just quickly do a quality check on the position of the reed, because sometimes the reed does move by a millimeter or two. So just before you tighten it, make sure that you're still happy. And that looks absolutely fabulous. I'm very happy with that. I hope you're happy with yours as well. If you're having any problems so far or something isn't looking right, here are a few images to help you. And when your reed is happily in place, then the completed top part of the saxophone will look like this. With your ligature, it might look like this. You'll see the reed's position is exactly the same. The ligature just looks different. And there we go. Your reed is now happily in place, and you can hang on to the neck like you have it now, because we're going to be using it just like it is for the next lecture. I'll see you over there.